Hello and welcome to Steph K Equestrian. I'm sure anybody who watches any of my social media stuff has been wondering what's going on with Pickles and what she's doing. I have had lots of people who are curious about like what exactly I'm doing with her because she's really young, and like the traditional way to train foals is not how I do things, and so a lot of people have asked like if you can't give her treats, how are you training her, that sort of thing. And so I figured I'd do like a short video. I got a little recording of sort of like showing some of the stuff that she has learned how to do so far, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about like what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and how it works, and that sort of thing. So as you probably know, I am a positive reinforcement based horse trainer. I have worked with a few other types of equines, but mostly horses. My background is in animal neurology in general, so I've trained everything from a fruit fly to working with like large mammals, as well as like birds, lizards, dogs, cats, all of that stuff. I've been a horsewoman a lot longer than I've been a neuroscientist, but when I was studying neuroscience, I was like, we train all of these animals in this like very specific way that's just based around like general learning theory, and yet we train horses totally differently. Why is that? Hey everybody, Future Steph here. I'm gonna go ahead and take some of the bulk of this talking and put it into a couple other videos. So very briefly, I go ahead and talk about the EIEIO'S, which is a way I evaluate my training methods, and it is something I made up, so you should go watch that video, see how I do that. I'm also going to talk about the permission game, which is a really important tool you can use to avoid adverse behaviors like kicking and biting and stuff like that, while still using like force-free handling. So it's how I eliminate that, and sort of how I answer that question that's, well, if your horse can do whatever they want, why don't they like kick you and stuff like that. And so it's how I stay safe while also still staying force-free. So you should go listen to that one or watch that one. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about the difference between opportunistic and structured training, which is two different approaches to how you like organize your training, and I'll talk about like why I choose to do one over the other, and also why you might not want to make that same choice or why you might want to. So head on over, watch those videos, and then I'm going to skip straight to like the important part, which is the adorable full footage. So have fun. So now talking about Pickles in particular. So everything I've done with Pickles has been force-free. I have not forced her to interact with me at all. And let me stress to you, that was very difficult. Like she's not very big. I could easily just like grab her and just snuggle the crap out of her, and like I would love to do that because she's adorable. And she was not the most personable foal. Like when she was born, like right away, as soon as she was aware of people, she was like, oh, get away from me, don't touch me. And it broke my heart because I love her and I want to snuggle her and I want to have my hands all over her and just like give her scratchings and tell her how much I love her, and communicate that to her. But the like scratches and the love and everything, it wasn't pleasant for her, so it wasn't communicating that I love her, it was just frightening to her. And so I had to like really like hold back and not like be like grabbing at her or anything like that, as tempting as it was. Like I wanted to get my hands on her. I was able to hang out with her while she was sleepy. Like when she was laying down, she would let me like approach, and I sort of suspected it at the time, and I kind of like bit my tongue and ignored it because I wanted to be cuddling with her. But I think a big part of that is when she was tired, she like didn't want to, like she didn't care enough to like leave. Like when she was awake and really alert and aware, she would always choose to like leave and keep distance between us. But I think when she was like tired, she would get sleepy enough that she like wouldn't, like she'd be too tired to like put up a fight and like care. And so she was just like, fine, I guess you can touch me because I'm not gonna like put in the effort to like coordinate my legs and stand up and run away from you. And so she would let me come over and like love on her a little bit. So like might not have been the best thing, but I don't think it did any long-term damage. Like she did, like if she ever got like very obviously uncomfortable, I would back off. But she was a little more open to things when she was like really sleepy and not like not super active. And so we got like some sleepy snuggles in. I just sort of took my time with things. She has been force handled 3 times by the vet. So my vet comes out and she has an assistant that is with her. So she came out for like the 24-hour full exam, and the assistant did like do the bear hug grab and hold on to her. They took like a blood sample to make sure she had like the antibodies she was supposed to get from mom's colostrum and all of that good stuff. And she was totally healthy, which was awesome. I was very lucky to get such a beautiful, healthy foal. And then the vet has been out here 2 other times. Again, they bear hugged her. So she has been force handled a couple of times. And she definitely does not like the vet because of that. But otherwise, she has been like 100% force free. Any interactions we have established some cues so that we can interact in a force free way. Once she's wanting to interact and engage with me, then I can begin some actual training. Some of the things that I've been teaching her, and again, this is not like, I did not write out a plan of like, I want to teach her these behaviors first or anything like that. My whole plan focuses on life skills. So right now, like for the first 4 years of her life, she's just gonna be learning how to be like a pet, basically. I want her to lead. I want her to stand for the farrier. I want her to stand for the vet. I want her to load on a trailer. I want her to be able to be like handled all over her body, just like really basic like life skills. And so that is the goal. But of course, I'm not gonna like rush there. I'm not gonna say like first thing we need to do is the farrier and then just only focus on her feet for the first like 2 months of her life or something like that. So it's opportunistic. It's whatever she presents to me is what I'm gonna be working on. So of course she loves scratches. She loves scratches on her withers and her hips the most. And so the first thing I did was a shoulder target using her withers. And I used that with scratches, so I would give her like a little scratch and then I would sort of pull my hand away and make a little claw shape, just like an inch away, and I would just do that a few times until she started to sort of lean over, and then I'd create more distance until eventually she was taking a step. Once she was reliably giving me the behavior off of the like physical like body language cue, then I started adding a verbal cue. I would say shoulder, and then she would step her shoulder over, and we've done that on both sides. I have noticed because of the opportunistic learning, she is better on her left side than her right side. And I think that's because it was not structured. I was not counting like, okay, we've done 3 on this side, we're gonna switch to this side. It's just wherever she was and I was, we were just like adding it in our little like scratchy fun time sessions. And so it's been a little uneven, so she's like a little better on one side than she is on the other, but I'm not overly worried about that. There's lots of time to correct that. I remind myself too, like I've taken 17-year-old untouched horses and they're now like riding around and have all their life skills. So I'm not worried about like, oh, if she doesn't learn it by 6 weeks, she's never gonna be a good horse. Like, no, she'll be fine. She can be feral for 17 years and then I get her out and she'll be fine. Obviously I'm not gonna do that. That would be like torture for me to just like have her be feral for that long. But I am working with her every single day, so like she'll be fine. I'm not worried about any like rushing anything. The next thing we started doing was a little bit of a hip target. Hip targeting is, I consider hip targeting to be a more advanced behavior because it has a lot of potential to be dangerous. So a hip target to me is asking them to target like their flank towards you. I do not do like tail towards you. I think that could be really dangerous. I've also seen a lot of videos of people who have taught a hip target, and it's really clear that the behavior they're reinforcing is that aggressive swinging the hips towards them. It's not like a relaxed side step. It's like an aggressive, like the horse will like pin its ears and put its head up and like swing its hips towards them. And that, it's just a product of how it was reinforced. Like if you reinforced an aggressive swing, that's what you're gonna get every time. And you're reinforcing not only that physical movement, but that mindset and that like what's going on in the horse's head is being reinforced. And if that is aggression, that is dangerous. So I'm really careful with hip targets. I want it to be really calm, relaxed. I want them to think that they are stepping their legs over, not that they are swinging their hips towards me. So we have done a little bit of that, and she's done really, really well with that one. She does get a little overly excited. She's got like an itchy spot on like her tail, and you can see she's got like a little rub across her butt where she backs up to the fence and like wiggles her little booty to like itch her little tail. And so sometimes she does get like overly excited when I start scratching on her flank because she wants to twist around and wants me to scratch her tail. And so I'm just really careful. Like Pickles has never offered to kick anybody. She has a distinct way to tell me to go away. She no longer has a bucking reflex, which is when they get pressure on their croup, they are born with a reflex to like buck and get the predator off of their back. And that went away really quickly with some basic withholding. Like I'd scratch, scratch, scratch. If she'd start to do anything remotely resembling a hop, I would stop and I would like leave and end the session. Or if I was like through a fence, I'd just like back up. And then we did that a few times and it didn't take long for her, like, it was really, she was like really mad at first. She was like, why did you stop scratching me? I'm like, you tried to kick me. And she's like, so keep scratching please. And I had to like work with her and be like, no, I'm not gonna scratch you if you're trying to buck. And it's just not being bad, it's just an instinct, right? And so I just had to reinforce the good behavior, punish the bad behavior by withholding that reinforcer. I never like smacked her for it, I never anything like that. Like I did not need to. I just would stop scratching and then she'd look at me like, what did I do? And eventually she learned. So now she's good. She no longer does anything remotely like that. And she never did get any like aggressive kicking. It was just like that hop on the hind end that they do when they get pressure on their croup. And so I'm not overly concerned about the idea of her potentially kicking me. I think that that's a really low possibility, but not zero. We talk about like the kicking zone, like being where their hind legs are. You could be in a kicking zone where it's a little more dangerous. Although that is true, I think that like being directly behind them, they can't see you, which is a little more dangerous, but like the whole horse is a danger zone. Like if you're not in the kicking zone, you're by their head, and that's the biting zone, or the striking zone, like they could strike you with a front leg. Like the whole area is a trample zone. Like they could spook sideways or backwards or forward, like they could go anywhere. And so the whole horse is a danger zone. So although I do recognize that it is dangerous to be around their hind end, I think that like I am a professional, and so I know what I'm doing. I'm able to read those signals and predict if she is going to get kicky or nippy or anything like that. So, and she never has been. So I'm able to assess the situation and then proceed with like caution and professionalism to train. So anyways, so we did a shoulder target, we did a hip target. We have also started doing the magic wiggle finger, which is a nose target. I do all of my animals learn the magic wiggle finger. With most of them, I put a treat in the palm of my hand and then I wiggle, and then when they touch it with their nose, a treat appears. Magic. And they love it, and it's really good with like every animal I know knows how to do like a basic just like nose target. So she has started to learn a little wiggle finger. Just when she touches it, I give her this, which is like my vocal click. I haven't used an actual clicker with her just because I don't feel the need to right now. We're not doing anything like specific enough that she really needs like a full-on clicker, and it is something that she will learn later in her life, but for now we're trying to keep it to like body to body. We're not adding any gadgets. There are no target sticks, there are no halters, there are no ropes. It's just me and her. And so I use my little vocal click when she touches it, and then I give her lots of scratchies. And so she's gotten pretty good about doing that off both sides and with both hands. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So now I'm gonna shoot you over to the... So my phone died while I was trying to record that. Enjoy the footage of Pickles. What do you think? Yeah, what a good girl. Can we do wiggle finger? Good girl. That was not a very good one. There we go. Can we do wiggle finger over here? Good girl. Can we do booty hip? Finger. Wiggle finger. We'll do... Oh, we're distracted. Okay. Shoulder. Good girl. Can we do hip? This side hip is the hard. Yeah, good girl. Hip. Yeah, good baby. All right.
Girl Pickles.
Can we do good girl? Can we do shoulder? Yeah, what a good girl. Can we do hip? Let's see. Ooh, maybe this was the hard side.
Maple, don't get in the way, please. Thank you.
Yeah, good hip. What a good girl. Yeah. Wiggle finger. Yeah. Good girl. Wiggle finger. Good girl.
Come here.
Oh, okay, we just do lovin's. We just do lovin's.
Come here, Maple. Oh, Maple. Maple's like, what about me?
And a little bit of recall. Pickles, come here.
Maple, not you.
Maple's like, I know what that means. Good Pickles. Hi, Pickles, come on. Yeah. What a good girl. Come here. Oh, what a good girl. Right, come on, Pickles. Come here, Pickles. What a good girl. Oh, you're so good. You're so good. Yes. Yes, you're so good. Oh, you're my baby. Yes, you're my baby. Yes, you are.
Maple's like, what about me, guys?
Yes, you're my baby too. Yes, you're my good baby. You're my baby mama. Pickles is like, get out of here, Mom. You're embarrassing me. All right, that's good.